Before we get started, I would just like to remind everyone listening that this is a channel specifically for heterosexual Black women who are interested in increasing their dating options to include all races of men by making certain physical, behavioral, and overall lifestyle changes. This is not a channel that bashes Black men, and this is not a channel that focuses on Black male pathology. If you are a Black woman who would like to learn more about why Black men do what they do, I will link several channels in the description box below in which women discuss Black male pathology at length. But on this channel, we don't argue with men, we don't debate with men, and we definitely don't beg men for their affection. On this channel, we simply observe what men are doing and adapt accordingly in order to get the things that we want out of life. I will almost always be analyzing the physical appearance and or behavior of different Black women. This is not intended to mock or bash these women, but only to serve as examples of what heterosexual Black women should or shouldn't do if they're interested in increasing their dating options. So now that we've got that disclaimer out of the way, let's get right into the video. So in today's video, I want to discuss which hairstyles Black women should do if they're wanting to increase their dating options. The first thing you should understand is that Black men tend to have different preferences than the rest of the world. As I stated in my previous video, Black men largely choose their mates based on skin tone and hair texture. They tend to prefer light-skinned women and chemically straightened hair, although they will accept your natural hair if it's type 3. If you are a light-skinned Black woman with type 4 hair who insists on exclusively dating Black men, then you're going to have to decide if you love Black men enough to keep burning your scalp with a potentially fibroid-causing chemical in order to attract them. And even then, it still might not be enough to compete with white and Hispanic women in their eyes. If you are a dark-skinned Black woman with type 4 hair who insists on exclusively dating Black men, then there's a real possibility that you will still be single well into your 40s. For those of you Black women who understand those facts and want to increase your dating options, you need to understand that men of other races tend to not like relaxed hair. They think it looks very forced on Black women, and they also tend to not like wigs and weaves. In fact, they don't even like when our natural afro hair is too controlled, in buns, ponytails, etc. I showed you all a comment in the last video where a non-Black gentleman specifically said that he prefers a Black woman's hair to be frizzy, and another non-Black gentleman expressed that he likes when a Black woman's hair is a big curly mop. So for those Black women who are not exclusively dating Black men, I encourage you to wear your natural, non-relaxed hair at all times. If it happens to attract a Black man that you want to be with, then that's cool. But you should expect that your natural hair will attract mainly men of other races, especially if you have type 4 hair and especially if you have darker skin. For my type 3 natural sisters, I recommend you all wear your hair out in a big curly fro. I recommend that your hair comes down to your shoulders at least because honestly most men do not like super short hair. If your hair isn't long enough yet, they now sell coily clip-ins that you should have no problem blending with your type 3 hair. They are an expensive investment, but they are worth it. I will link some companies in the description box below that sell coily clip-ins, and you can do the research on your own to see which company sells the best quality hair. Now for my type 4 naturals, my recommendation for how you should wear your hair is a little different. Whenever I see a Black woman wearing wigs and weaves, I automatically know that there's a 98% chance that she has type 4 hair and just doesn't know what to do with it. If you're a type 4 natural, then you've probably dealt with single strand knots, failed braid outs, failed twist outs, failed rod sets, failed sleek styles, etc. You've probably realized that you just can't get your hair to do much other than a big fro that looks like you stepped out of the 80s. And some of us just don't like that hairstyle on us. In addition, a lot of you type 4 naturals have probably figured out by now that our hair grows best when left alone in what we call protective styles. So in an effort to protect our hair while still having some versatility, we wear wigs and weaves. But unfortunately, if you're interested in increasing your dating options, the wigs and weaves are going to hold you back. If you have type 4 hair, I highly recommend you put your hair in micro twists. They are tiny little twists that are so small that you cannot even tell that they are twists, and it gives off a loose natural look without actually being a loose natural. The more your roots grow out, the more prominent the illusion. With this style, there will be no more single strand knots, no more using an entire jar of gel to force your hair into different styles, no more having to use heat, and no more 12-hour wash days. This protective style allows your type 4 natural hair to frame your face better because the twist will cause your hair to sort of hang instead of grow up and out as type 4 hair tends to do. I like it because it offers the ease of locks while still maintaining some of the volume of loose natural hair. So it's the best of both worlds. And it definitely has that frizzy curly look that men of other races really like on black women. Now the woman you see in the picture is actually planning to let her micro twist mature into locks. But I don't recommend locks for anyone who wants to increase their dating options. Unfortunately, there is still a misconception about locks that they are dirty and unkempt. Is it an unfair stigma? Yes. But do I think you should spend your dating years trying to break that stigma by locking your hair? No. That's definitely not the hill you should die on. Once you are married and off the dating market, then you can talk to your husband about letting your hair lock completely. And if he seems receptive to the idea, then you can go ahead and do it if that's what you really want to do. For now, I recommend that every 2 months you unravel each twist one by one and then twist it back up. This will keep your micro twist from ever actually maturing into locks. And I know some of you guys are going to complain about having to retwist all of your micro twists, but if you really think about it, you're only retwisting them every 2 months. That means you are fussing with your hair exactly 6 times out of the year. That's 6 days out of 365. If you have time to fuss with wigs and weaves every 2 to 3 days, then you definitely have time to retwist your micro twist 6 days out of the year. And it may even be less than 6 times, it just depends on how quickly your hair tends to lock up. As for the general upkeep of your micro twists, I would braid them down in order to wash and condition them so that they don't unravel during the washing process. Then on a day-to-day basis, I would just spray the micro twists with a mixture of water, leave-in conditioner, and oil to keep them moisturized. Now, if your micro twists do not yet reach your shoulders, or if you have thin hair and you find that your micro twists look a little spacey, you have to remember that most men do not like super short hair or thin hair. But that's okay, because they actually sell kinky clip-ins, which again, I will put some links for where to purchase those in the description box below. All you have to do is twist up the kinky clip-ins into tiny little micro twists just as you've done with the hair on your head, and then strategically place the clip-ins so that no one can see the tracks. Eventually, your real hair will get longer and thicker from constantly being in this protective style, and you will no longer need the clip-ins. I hope you guys will give these hairstyles a shot, and look out for my next video where I will be discussing how black women should properly install clip-ins in order for them to look believable. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.